Hello folks, the European Commission is threatening to impose new tariffs of up to 48% on Chinese electric cars. This follows on from a report where they found that a lot of these electric cars are being subsidised by the Chinese government. And they consider those subsidies to be unfair and that they pose a threat of economic injury to EU battery electric vehicle manufacturers. They could therefore be looking to add an additional tariff on top of the existing 10% on any electric vehicle imports into Europe from China. This could happen as early as the start of July. Now, the amount of tariff applied to each individual manufacturer will depend on how much of their business is being funded by the Chinese government. Auto Express have sort of said that it could put at least 38% on the price of an MG. And just to give you an idea of what that would look like in the real world, instead of paying 27 grand for an MG4, you'd be looking at 36.5 grand almost. So the difference that would make to you as a consumer is absolutely huge. It would also affect brands like BYD, Geely-owned brands, so Volvo, Lotus, Smart, for example. All those cars could be loaded up by thousands of pounds simply to keep the Chinese at bay. It could even affect Tesla. Although Tesla is an American company, they produce a considerable number of their cars over in China, and they have applied for special sort of dispensation to make sure they're not affected by this. But it could certainly affect them in the short term, or indeed in the long term, if their application is poo-pooed in any way. Now, there'll be lots of people watching this that are thinking, well, good riddance, we don't want Chinese government bringing products over here cheap and trying to cut into the market because of it and all the rest of it. A lot of those people will be on a Chinese phone, tablet or TV, by the way. The bigger picture here is, you know, we're being forced into electric cars, and the Chinese have got some dirt cheap electric cars. You only have to look at the 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎. The Chinese equivalent of that is so cheap, it's like, I don't know, £6,000–7,000, and it's going to start at £15,000 here. That will only continue, and it means that other countries, other regions, will have access to much cheaper electric cars than we do over here. And it's going to make it more difficult for Joe Public to get into an electric car, certainly a new electric car. Obviously the used market is fantastic, but there'd be a lot of people moving into a new electric car if they could buy one for 8 grand, as they can in China. This seems like a little bit of an act of desperation from the European Commission. They're protecting their own, essentially, but a lot of the European car manufacturers must be quaking in their boots a little bit, because even if they can compete with the Chinese, do they want to? Do they want to cut that much out of their margin in order to be able to compete? And this tariff gives them a nice little buffer so that they effectively can keep a bit of their margin and still compete. Yes, we don't want one country ruling everything and manufacturing everything. That's not healthy for everyone. But we also need somewhat fair market conditions, don't we? So that we as consumers are not paying through the nose for someone else's political decisions. By the way, if you're thinking, how is this going to apply to us in the UK? The UK is no longer part of the European Union, so we won't have to follow those rules. But chances are we will choose to, as we still seem to with quite a lot of European rules. And surely if the EU and the US bring in those tariffs, there's going to be quite a lot of pressure on us to do the same. So again, it's all a little bit up in the air. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and help me reach my 50,000 target by the end of this year. And please go and follow me on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter. All the links are about to appear on the screen for you. And have a good one. Thanks.